I'm sorry.
Ah, sure, throw it at the supervisor.
Just throw it.
Your old paper boy habits, right?
Thank you.
Okay, ready to start?
We're set.
Thank you, Danielle. First meeting of the month for the month of February, February 12th. I'd like to start the meeting off with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence for all brave men and women fighting all over the world for democracy and freedom. Also a moment for the loss of Patricia Russo. Thank you very much. Need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. So motioned. Motion to approve minutes from the January 22nd, 2018 Town Board meeting.
Motion.
Need a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Motion to approve minutes from the January 22, 2018 public hearing.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Authorize the payments of bills in the amount of $2,084,657.40.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Any comments on the agenda? No presentations today, so let's go right to the report of departments and boards. Let's start off with mine. So we had a long break there, had the fifth Monday in January. So we met with Aaron Drost, D-R-O-S-T, from New York Parks and Recreation, Cindy Lanzetta, Councilman Baker, and Rosemary Wine to discuss the status of the Milton Railroad Station Park, reviewed the application that we had submitted for the Milton Landing Park. So in brief, there's like $98,000 on the table. We're going after that money. It's money that we could do for capital funds, so we could actually do that project. And also we could use a match for that. And we're starting to get that. So I got the first thing from Aaron, and I signed it, and now it goes back to the state, and we're waiting for that to come back, and then we could go ahead with that. I had a meeting with representatives from Spectrum and Councilman Corcoran to discuss upgrading the internet at the highway garage. Scott, you want to just give us a brief?
Yeah, were you there, Howard, too?
Yeah,
we were there.
Part of it.
Part of it, because we came through. Yeah, well, Howard came in, so we, but basically, we trying to upgrade the speed through, we have this, it's kind of like this tunnel that goes from our building currently here to down to the highway department, and their speed was lacking. We just upgraded our speed here from 100 to 100. So we wanted to give them better speed down there and to have less, frequency in between the line from here to there. It's a more of a direct run. It's going to also be fiber optic line. So they're going to run a direct fiber optic line from the pole out on the street directly into the building, and then our line's going to be directly tunneled right to them. So through that line, so that you guys should see much better speed. I know you don't use it tremendously, but especially like when the bus comes, and hopefully this will help you guys with any of your other stuff. But there's no real cost to us. It actually is going to be about the same price.
Yeah, a couple of bucks.
A couple dollars more, so it makes logical sense. It's going to help the water department obviously too, Charlie. So it's basically just giving them faster speed, fiber optic speed that we currently get here. So But again, not much of a big cost, and I think you got the paperwork, right?
Right. Yeah, signed off on it,
It's all
it's
good.
already.
So you might not see him, Gail, till the weather gets nicer, because the guy was not, he said that he probably won't go out there in the cold weather.
I don't blame him. And you're still seeing good results? We went from the 20/20 to the 100/100?
Yeah, I think,
You want to
In the
speak
police-
into the microphone?
can you hear me?
So
In the
many
police
people
department
here.
side, I think things have been running very quickly. Much better than it used to be,
Than
Yep.
before?
than before, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Scott. Met with insurance representatives to review town insurance. It went up a little, not that much. Met with Sun Energy representatives and Councilman Baker to review progress on solar project at landfill. Howard, you want to just give us an update?
Just two main updates on that. One is the idea of a CCA where you get people in the community to sign up for cheaper energy, greener energy. That's probably going to be put on hold for a while because of some changes in the regulations and some difficulties with Central Hudson in terms of billing. So that's on the back burner for now in terms of trying to set that up. So their focus is on the lease agreement with the town for building the solar facility, and there's been some changes in that as well due to it's a constantly changing environment. So we're still working on some of the aspects of that agreement, and we're moving cautiously, I would say.
And I did contact Mike from the town of Rochester. That's going through this process
Right,
also.
right.
So we could get a better feel of
Right.
actually what's going on.
I sent you guys an email that sort of described it. It's changes daily, so.
How much usable, I was a little confused, how much usable acreage are they looking at the landfill?
Well, if they go to 5 megawatts, it would be, I think it's 8 acres per megawatt, so it would be 4.
Six.
Yeah, it was 6, and then today's email, he said 8. So
Oh,
I-
really?
it's between 6 and 8 acres
yeah.
per megawatt.
Per megawatt,
So if they, and they're limited to 5 megawatts, so it would be
40 acres,
30 to 40 acres.
And what do we have there, 42
80
acres?
something.
Yeah,
Oh, I
eight-
thought it was
eight-
40.
They have
We
to
have
just
80
clear a
acres.
lot of trees, basically.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They'd have to clear a lot then.
Which is not an issue for them, I guess, so. But there are other issues. You know, he told us just to be from, I think I put this in the email, it's 20% chance of this actually happening, so. But we might have other options in other companies, that's why we want to meet with some other towns. I don't know if
I
you
just
saw.
didn't realize they were gonna be utilizing that much of the landfill, so
I figured they would be using that much, but
pretty big.
then we have stormwater and everything else that we have to factor in for that, too. Stormwater retention, all the other stuff's got to be
So,
factored in.
Mike from the town of Rochester, they actually did an RFP and got 5 different people that were interested in their landfill, and one of them was Sun Energy, but they didn't receive it. I think this other group received it, so by talking to them, we might get a better feel, and maybe somebody that'd be more interested in paying a little bit
Yeah.
more. We don't
Yeah.
know. Anyhow,
Thank Craig McKinney for that.
yeah.
Yeah, did you read his editorial?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
So the information he gave there was not exactly correct. It's not that much money, but it is the town of Rochester, and they are pursuing it with this company. So we're going to see what they're doing.
So on the local station, it was on one thing about it.
Town of Rochester?
Town of Rochester?
Yep.
Okay, thank you,
Yep.
Howard. We had a recreation meeting with Joe Wiles, Vince Manisi, Councilman Corcoran on rental fees. We'll change it from a percentage to a monthly rental fee, and that's in motion. Met with Manny Calcio, with the planning board secretary to discuss some project fees, and that's coming shortly. Had a meeting with Councilman Malinelli and the pastor and representatives of the Marlborough Presbyterian Church to discuss status of church property. You want to do an update?
I mean, basically, what I saw from it, they really, their hands are tied because of they want to sell it, but they don't want to give it away because otherwise they go back to like our archdiocese, whatever they're called, between the Methodist Church and that. So we basically just discussed options, and we told them the property there is probably worth more to them than, selling it and subdividing it. because that's the last area where there's actually sewer and water in this, in a flat piece of land, then we, with us buying it, I just think it would be on the tax rolls and the houses would be there. It's actually not a bad spot to put houses. You could put them back to back on both sides of the road.
So-
And, that's basically what I told him.
Yeah,
If I
that's what
was-
Ed said,
if I
his
was there-
suggestion was, but they want to sell it, they need money to, I think.
How much
to
acreage
exist.
is there in that spot, do you know?
Over 3 acres.
The one, the vacant space, or?
Oh, the vacant space,
'Cause you'd have to probably subdivide it. right?
yeah,
An
maybe you
acre
could
and
get
a
an
half?
acre and a half, maybe you could get out of there.
So you can build on quarter acre there, I believe.
You can.
Yeah.
You can.
So the total acreage is, what'd you say, a little over
I
3?
think with the
With the church and
education
everything.
building and everything,
Yeah,
it might
so-
be a little bit more.
On what size building, if we were to purchase it, do we know what size building we could put up there?
We do not.
We should try to maybe find that out too, see if it's even worthwhile.
Well, we didn't tell him anything about anything being worthwhile. We told him we basically weren't gonna buy property down there, I think, is what we told him.
I mean, we were looking to see if they wanted to donate it, and they told us about, like what you just discussed, that they would have to go through different dioceses in each county.
You can't really sell it, you know. it's not
Excuse
gonna-
me?
You can't really sell it. I mean, you can't really give it away. You
Yeah.
can't sell it, yeah.
They would
Sorry.
sell it.
Yeah.
And I think at one time, we also thought, we asked Cindy Hilbert of what appraisal would be for that piece of property. So, that being said, right now,
Put a standstill on it.
I don't know what the board's,
No, I mean, I don't want to be spending money on purchasing property. I think we should seriously think, I had mentioned this before, about looking at our code about being able to build multiple structures within the hamlet. I was talking about the other property by the firehouse.
I
And
think-
this property would also fit within that where we could, instead of
You
just
know where the old
single
Methodist
families,
church
you
was?
could actually
Yeah.
build multifamilies.
Well, I think I brought it up a while ago, is we really need to sit down and look at the zoning within the hamlets, and maybe update it as far
Yeah,
as,
that's what I'm
I think I talked to Tom at length about that piece of property, and he thought it was probably beneficial for the applicant to come in and put two-family homes in there.
You talking about the Methodist Church?
Yeah, the property there.
Yeah, I mean, that was
So
the,
it's ongoing with the applicant, I don't know.
Well, the applicant's not gonna build single-family homes there. That's
No,
why-
no,
But he was saying, no,
That's why it's
a
sitting
double
there.
family house, you know.
3
Well-
two-family houses.
3 two-family houses,
Yeah, I
which
don't-
give him 6. And if he had to put 6 in there, if Tom was saying he has to put the firewalls in, he has to do the sprinkler system, he has to do all that, so it alleviates some.
I mean, that was the recommendation of the Behan's report, that, yeah, put something in there that made
Well, we
it
wanna
look
be-
more like what's already there. Is that what you're talking about? These two-family houses?
I mean, we
Yeah.
could look at that further.
Wish
We
they
could
never
look at
tore that
talking
church
Tom
down,
to see what
nice
the
church.
best thing is, or see whatever code involvement that would take. But,
Yeah, I mean, we have a piece of property, you know, that's been sitting there for years and years and years now, just sitting there. We know the applicant at this point, well, at least says he's willing to build something, but he needs some help with some changes in the code to do that. And I think it would fit the hamlet best to accommodate that, but to the point, we don't know. You know, that's a discussion, I think, maybe when he gets back, I would ask Tom, maybe we could set a meeting up
Yeah.
and go over it.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
it could also fit into this single property for them, that's an acre and a half.
I
If
don't
they
think the
decide,
church
if they
wants
decide
it.
to
Well, you
sell
know,
something. They might get to a point they don't have a choice to sell something.
it may get there, but I don't know that we're
I
there
don't know
yet.
if you're there yet.
Remember, the town approached the church, it wasn't the church
Correct,
approaching
yeah,
the town, so.
absolutely.
okay.
I agree.
Yeah, so,
But
it wasn't like we
It
were,
would give them an option, I'm saying, you know, at
it,
least if
it
it was
would,
there.
but I don't think we're at that point yet,
Hopefully you don't have to do that.
but, right.
yeah, but to Scott's point, and even what I'm bringing up is, there is properties in town that probably can be redeveloped, or probably could be purchased together,
There's spots that are open that I think could be, they could put a house there now because
but I
of
think they don't want to put
sewer
houses
and
there.
water.
Yeah, but I think there's other pieces, like the parcel across from the firehouse, he doesn't want to put single houses there, he wants to put
I
multiple.
understand that. And I had this, like I said, I had the discussion with Tom, but we might have to sit down with Mr. Troncalli and Tom and myself or Scott and look at what we can do.
I think also, I mean, I'm not, you know, I'm just saying that parcel, but I mean, even in the hamlet of Milton, there might be opportunity for, that code would be, I'm saying like a hamlet type code, because, you know, that's where you want to build up your
Density.
densities.
But you're also,
So-
you know,
I think in Milton it's fine, I think,
Milton right now is doing pretty
you
good.
know, we're on Main Street with Pollock, I think that's all good to go code-wise, as far as it's got the sewer and the water, and, you know, he has
Well,
the
we'll
density.
set up a meeting and then we'll go from there,
I
but
think
Okay.
with, I think with
What's the
the,
difference between that and what Frankie put up on the old macaroni flats?
Frankie got in on the last, grandfathered in.
Okay.
Yeah, that, we don't even want to go there.
I never understood how that happened.
Sliced out.
We don't want to go there, let's leave that one alone. Okay, so when Tom gets back, we'll
Yeah,
talk
we'll
about
set it up. And I think it would be a good thing to bring the applicant in and say, look, what do you really want to do there? And if you do, you got to come up and bring a design plan in to kind of give us an idea what you're thinking about, right? Because I know I know probably everybody on this board had a discussion with him at one point in
Right.
time
absolutely.
about what he wants to do there,
It's changed all the time.
but it changes, right? So,
No, that's a good point. So let's have that discussion.
all right, thank you.
So, and I also met with Councilman Corcoran and the police union representative and Sergeant Pascal to discuss 2018 contract negotiations. He never gave me some dates
Yeah, we
for
gotta
this
get-
month. I'll check it.
Gotta get-
I'll give him a call tomorrow.
Farrell,
Yeah,
Saul Farrell still there?
Yeah.
Yep.
Of course. Meeting with Councilman Baker and Matthew Kiersted and representatives of Tilcon to discuss possible trail use. We discussed the different parcels, and we talked about the low-hanging fruit, and that's the one right off of 9W by Christ Church.
Christian Hill,
And I
yep.
talked to Josh the other day, and he said the lawyers are working on leasing that property to the town of Marlborough, which would be a good thing. That'd be like an instant trail type thing. So,
30
on
acres.
that front. You like to add anything to that meeting? Met with Councilman Baker, Chief Bob Chancelita, and representative of the Marlborough School District, as well as major engineering representatives to discuss Bayside project. And at that meeting, they discussed a memorandum of understanding, and I sent that to you guys. We just got that the other day. I don't know if I haven't had time to look at it, but the school has it, and it outlines, I show on the map, it outlines all the things that they discussed, what they're gonna do. So that's what the school wanted. It's like right there, so they could agree or disagree.
There was quite a bit of discussion about that at the planning board meeting as well.
Right.
I don't know if you were there for that
I
piece
was.
of, yeah, okay. So, we'll see what happens.
But the applicant was,
Talking about the easement for the middle school
Yep.
and,
but I mean, they're willing to do everything that, obviously,
the school
they're
district.
agreeing to the MOA, right? So,
We hope so.
Yeah, the MOU, yeah.
We hope so. We'll see what happens. Yep.
Well, you know, when we were up there, Patrick says when they were going to have a public hearing, he would actually come and talk about the project, how,
yeah.
you know, he's supportive of it.
Yep.
So we'll see. A meeting with Councilman Corcoran and IT Joel Naslo to discuss projector and electronic communication pads for town use. Scott's been talking about this for a while. Basically, we like to go paperless up here instead of all this paper. You want to just,
So Joel always does, he's trying to find the best possible price for what we want. And what we asked him to do is, we want a projector that's gonna be probably like the center of the old basketball court. It's gonna be on a fixture coming down, and there's gonna be a remote pull-down screen in the back for the audience so they could go along with it. And we're each gonna have like a type of a Chromebook that is gonna coincide with and sync up with that, so we don't have to look backwards like everybody else. You look, no, we'll have whatever's on that screen's gonna be on our screen, and the people in the audience will be able to follow through an agenda as we follow through an agenda. If someone wants to come in and do a presentation, there's gonna be a separate laptop that's actually controlling the main projector, and they could plug into there and do it remotely that way. The only thing that would be hardwired would be the projector, and then that computer would probably be wireless up to that system. This is strictly for us, for our use. We asked the school district originally if they wanted to do something like this. They didn't seem to be interested, so we backed off of that. And so we'll see what the budget is. The numbers that he's looking at right now aren't too bad. So I think we have it in our budget to do things like this. So hopefully this year we could actually do it. And then you won't have to print so much stuff anymore, Daniel.
Yeah.
Hopefully nothing.
Thanks, Scott,
So,
appreciate it.
Digital world.
Just moving along, we
Until everything goes out.
met with Evelyn Heimbach from UCIDA, with Councilman Baker, John DeMarco, to review land for development purposes in the community. We took a ride down by the Milton Landing, the train station we reviewed for maybe some meetings down there, Howard, and then we took a ride down towards Mr. Graciosi's property on Dock Road. This is just like a little field trip for them to see exactly what we have.
Yeah, we're trying to foster a better relationship, particularly with the Mid-Hudson Economic Development people, and Monique Legendre from that group was with us that day, so.
I attended a UC Technology Policy Committee of UC Transportation Council in Stone Ridge.
God bless
They
you.
don't have any money. Anyhow,
Keep hearing a door slam or something.
meeting at Newburgh Town Hall to discuss power plant assessment. Also in attendance were John DeMarco, Councilman Baker, Patrick Witterall, Michael Brooks, and Supervisor Gil Piaquad.
How's that looking?
What we found out was that the school couldn't, even though they wanted it, they wanted to pay half of the evaluation of the power plants. They couldn't because it was up to Orange County and the town of Newburgh. So Gil is in favor of going through this. He met with John's individual that we interviewed that does these appraisals, especially for power plants, very good. So he's willing to go with that. He wanted to see what Orange County would put in, so this way he could approach his board. I think it was 25,000, but that was for both of them initially, right? So I think he was gonna get it
Somewhere
down.
between that and 40,000, yeah, so.
Plus, Roaston is 2019,
Yep.
and
When it's,
Dan Scammer is 2021.
right.
The pilot.
The pilot ends in 2021 for Dan Scammer, and Roaston, the court-ordered agreement ends, next year, so.
Next year.
So this
Yeah.
is, so Newburgh and Orange County would probably have to pay for this consultant to do this appraisal. And they just have to get the board to approve it,
Okay.
their boards.
Yeah. And I seen emails going back and forth between Gil and John, for John to set it up to get a conference
Gil,
call.
yeah,
So,
John Newberg is
Gil
very-
is very anxious to get this thing going,
Very cooperative.
very
Well,
cooperative.
that's good news.
Yep. I met with Lara and Rosemary Wine to discuss a 5013 incorporation process. That's for the playground up at, remember we talked about that?
Yep.
Attended Ulster County State of the County Address at the invitation of County Executive Mike Hine. I was introduced as the supervisor of a SOPUS. Anyhow.
Sopus? Where did they even, not even.
I can see Marlborough or something.
I have no idea. I let it go. And then we had another meeting with Joel from Sun Energy, and I think we covered that pretty much.
Yes, we did.
Okay.
You know, I'm playing it. I'm kidding you. I'm playing it for sure. Marlborough
Busy, busy, busy.
with the
Okay.
G8, same thing.
Building inspector, you want to read that, Scott?
Yeah, I got it.
You got it?
This is for January, right? Monthly report, building department, month of January 2018, certificate occupancy 2, request for information 16, Building extensions 3, fire inspections 6, fire calls 1, other remedies 11, complaints 28, burn permits 19, building permits 7. Estimated cost of building $41,800, certificate of occupancy $300, request for information $1,600, building extensions $300, building permits $1,134, fire inspection fees $400, burning permit fee $20. Hey, that's our first burning permit fees. Total mileage 1,216 miles, total gas used 85 gallons, total monthly receipts $3,754. Thomas Corcoran, Bill Inspector.
Thank you very much, Scott. Appreciate it. Okay. Chief Kokoza.
Activity summary for the month of January 2018. Personal injury, motor vehicle accidents, 6. Fatals, 0. Property damage accidents, 13. Accidents not requiring report, 8, for a total of 27 for the month. Vehicle and traffic summonses issued, 53. Parking violations, 2. Ladder entries handled, 327, with a total of 18 arrests. Telephone calls handled, 1,786. Payroll 1 and 2 overtimes is attached. And full-time dispatch, part-time dispatch, no overtime. Police mileage, 10,241 miles. And I do not have the page with the fuel consumption. It's like 971 gallons, if my memory serves me right, somewhere around there. And that's what I have.
Our miles are still on the decline. A little.
We're averaging around 10 now with the number of cars that we have. That's about right.
I was going to ask you, the white car I still see out there.
Yeah, I wanted to know what you fellows wanted to do with it.
still
I think
use
no, I had mentioned, I think last meeting
Yeah.
that I was wondering if maybe, we have some options. Urgent has expressed an interest in it. Of course, they're looking for us to donate it, and I didn't think that was gonna happen. So I asked them for a dollar value, tell me what they think it's worth, and I would bring that back to you guys. That has not happened. So if the board so wishes to advertise it, I would be more than happy to get that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, we really don't use it at all, and it's,
Yeah, you don't have any equipment right now you're all set to get, that you're getting rid of. I'm thinking you're gonna do it at the same time. If you're,
yeah, it would make sense, save money, right?
Yeah.
On the advertisement.
Do you have anything, Gil?
Gail, do you have anything that you want to sell,
Vehicle-wise?
advertise?
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it's not rusting yet, is it?
no,
Let's
no,
get
it's
rid of it.
actually,
No, it looks good.
Let's get rid of it before it rusts.
yeah, it's actually in pretty good condition.
That's
I mean, the miles are a little high, but
Yeah.
it's not horrible.
I think you mentioned it.
Yeah, you
120?
mentioned it during
Is
the
that still,
budget.
that's the last
Yeah.
rear-wheel drive one? So,
No, we still have one more.
I just
rear-wheel drive.
noticed sitting out there now.
I see it every day.
Yeah, well, we moved it out of the line when we did the snow, and that's where we left it.
So,
I would say if I would make a motion
Make a
to
motion.
advertise,
I'll second.
to put it out for bid.
I'll get with Danielle tomorrow and make that happen.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None being?
And
do me a favor, could you text me the VIN number and all that stuff? And then I'll get an actual value, what we should accept.
Did you
Thank
ever
you.
get a hold of our
Yeah.
electrician about the
I did.
outlet outlet?
I did, he was
And-
supposed to be
and
here
your-
last week, but,
Buzzer.
yeah,
And your buzzer, is that still happening?
correct. I don't know, I didn't talk to him about the buzzer, I
I
did talk to him
did.
about, oh, okay. I talked to him about the electrical requirements that we have.
All right.
He says he was gonna come last week, but
And the server room too, right?
server room and the one outlet out
All
here.
right,
we
I'll
got.
call him tomorrow too. I'll call him tomorrow.
I know, thands, he
We got
tells me
tripping
he's
hazard
busy,
now,
so.
so we gotta
I'll
wire
bug
one
him
through
too.
the whole
That
thing.
was
We
it.
have to keep-
Jerry, I was at Stewart's last week, I think, I can't
Thanks,
remember
Chief.
what car it was, 204, 205 maybe? Had a click on it.
204 has a,
Sounds like a lifter.
we're not confident what it is yet, whether it's a broken valve spring or whether it's a lifter, but something's definitely ticking in that motor.
Are you gonna get it looked at, or?
We are. I've been waiting for Absolute to, they've been so busy they don't have time to tear it apart. And it needs a full top-end disassembly to figure out what's wrong with it, pull the valve covers, things like that. Just to get to the valve covers in those cars, a lot's gotta come off. So I told him we would give him some time, when I say some time, maybe a few weeks to straighten up things and get in there. And we're coming in a couple of weeks now. Otherwise, we'll have to find another, maybe the dealer, probably a better
Yeah,
route
just
to go.
in case so it doesn't let go totally.
Yeah, back in '06, we had a car that was doing the exact same thing. Now, I know there's a lot of differences in the years, but back then it was a broken valve spring,
Do you
which
have it?
necessitated a head replacement.
Is this a 3.6 in that one?
No, they're all
5.7,
5.7s,
That's
yeah.
seven.
Yeah, because 3.6 are known for heads, problems with heads.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is, it's a, there's no other way to, it sounds like a snapping knuckle.
Yeah,
Tick,
it's
tick,
something in
tick,
the
tick,
valve train, because I heard it.
Oh, yeah,
I went up to
it's
it.
loud.
Does it go away when you warm up? No.
No, it's gone, it's not there when you first start the car, but when it gets warm, it's more prevalent.
Normal
What
5,
number is this? What code?
204.
That's 204, the one with the LPR on it.
see, normal Hemis are loud when they first start, and then that brings the oil up.
Right.
Then it
Yeah,
comes down.
'cause
So this is a definite
It's
clank.
definite, yeah, it's mechanical.
Okay.
It's mechanical.
So, yeah, we're in the process of having that looked at, before we wipe the whole motor, because that motor's about 15,000.
I know.
If we blow that motor,
Did
we'll
you
jump the car.
read the
Oh,
dog catchers?
is that what you gave me?
Yeah, I just don't want to see the motor get wiped out.
Yeah, I agree.
Catcher, what they like.
Monthly dog control report for the month of January 2018. And we received a total of 7 calls this month, including 4 calls for service in the Marlborough Police Department and State Police, as well as Ulster County Sheriff. Responded to 2 active complaints and/or cases which are now closed and resolved. We currently have 1 open case that has been addressed, but is still ongoing and unresolved. We impounded 1 stray dog this month. The dog was boarded by the Ulster County SPCA for 7 days, at which time ownership was transferred to them. They will be finding a suitable home as the dog is properly evaluated. Currently have no dogs in the kennel. We had 1 dog bite report for the month. We had 1 possible dangerous dog under investigation. We have no cases in the Marlborough Justice Court. Andrew McKee.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Jerry, just one last thing quick. It's nothing to do with anything in here, but it's about the IT stuff. If and when we go to our digital system that we want to do, is it easy, can we get this well prior to the meeting that we could have it on there? When does this get made up?
Normally, Jen will do it on Friday. This week she did it on Monday, but I don't think it would be a
I
problem
mean, it's just a link.
to get it made up and
It's
and
just
scanned
the
and
word.
sent.
It's the word, right?
Other people
Yeah.
that, it's always Monday, it's Tony Falco and
Wow.
the assessor.
Because Tina's gonna have a different way of doing the agenda now. It's gonna be more, not the paper agenda, it's gonna be more, she's gonna have to set up the agenda through this laptop, I assume. That's how we're gonna have to do it. And, just wanna make sure our department heads are knowing that we're gonna request these things via.
In advance.
They send it now pretty much to Danielle.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get most of them from Danielle, so.
You hear that, Charlie? Look, Charlie's laughing over there. You got it?
These are just Word docs, though, right?
Yeah. It's just one little thing. It's just a page. So, all right.
Mr. Appler,
You're up, Gil.
You know what I mean? But you know, it's like everything else. Right? Just that we have to kind of start thinking. Yeah.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Monthly report for January 2018, roads. We had to repair a stop sign on South Street and Latintown Road. We did cold patch patrols as needed. On 111, we opened up catch basins in Marlborough and Milton. On 111, we cleaned up the hamlet of Marlborough. We did Christmas tree patrols and picked up and chipped numerous trees. We cut and chipped a dead tree on South Street and Blossom Drive. Water Department, we assisted WD with a water main break on 16 on Old Indian Road. On 113, we assisted WD with another water main break. Snow and ice, we did salt patrols for running water freezing overnight on our roads. On 13, we had to dig out a frozen ditch line on Old Indian Road on Maple and Watson. On 13, we had a northeastern that dumped 68 inches with 30-mile-an-hour gusts. We worked this into 14, plowing back the drifting snow. On 16, we had 3 wing trucks out plowing back drifted snow over roads. On 18, we had to pre-treat for rain, changing the snow, and only received the dusting. On 112, temps were 60 degrees and raining, but on 113, temps dropped below freezing, and we had to salt the freezing runoff. On 116, we had light snow all day, and worked this into 117 with 8 inches. On 130, we had 1 to 2 inches of snow and plowed this off and salted all roads. And we did salt patrols nearly every day this month and numerous catch basin patrols to keep these open. Fuel usage, gas, 407 gallons, diesel, 1,906.
Pretty busy.
Good work, Gail.
Gail, since Kenny retired, do you have an opening still? Or did
Yeah, we're gonna fill it soon, yeah.
you got someone already in mind, you think?
Yeah, we do, yeah.
All right, good.
Who's gonna move up to
He's not gonna
Kenny's
tell you.
position?
No, I'm just curious. If
I-
I didn't hear him say he was advertising,
Move Gary up into the foreman's job,
you know,
Gary Lazaroff.
which is,
And then, a local boy that we're gonna hire. Yeah, try to keep it local. They're hard to find.
Yeah. You know, it's happening. You're losing a lot of people to like the unions, like the Metro North. and
There you
that's
go,
like-
everybody's
Well,
hiring.
you
Yeah.
got 17.
Yeah, you can't
Yeah.
blame them.
17's losing guys to Metro North, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So the local guys are going, you know what I mean, going over to 17
Yeah.
or Metro North.
17's they're all out working right now.
Yeah.
but did Kenny just finally retired, right?
Yeah, he retired, about a week ago. Actually, with the union contract.
Yep.
Takes 2 weeks to make everything turn around, because we have to post it in-house and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So this is the last week where, then it'll be free, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Good
free
luck
to,
to him.
free to do it. Oh, yeah, yep,
Good for him.
So, while you're up,
yes,
I didn't put in my report, but we met, myself, you, John Alonji, the deputy supervisor, superintendent,
yes,
at the Captain Supply. And
Oh,
we
yeah.
talked
Look,
about
yeah.
making that a municipal
Right.
parking lot.
yeah,
And so I had a lawyer write a lease that's in front of the board tonight.
okay,
Basically, it's no money down, but we take care, as we discussed, plowing the parking
Yeah.
lot and stuff like that, putting the sign up, taking the fence down,
Yeah.
putting the road cut to the
Yeah.
middle, and then diagonally park.
right,
We're gonna have the striper go in there and stripe too in the spring,
Yeah,
parking spots?
yeah, we're gonna have to, I don't know if Gail could do that, we'll have to have
What's that?
somebody. The striping,
yeah, we'll have to do something with it.
Yeah.
We can do something.
we'll work it out. So, I think it allows about 10 cars in there, so it's located just right, it's on the sidewalk. Go right down to any of the restaurants or whatever.
Are you gonna use that too for like they do the Presbyterian Church when it snows, people?
It could be used
Oh,
that,
yeah,
but it'd be
we use-
municipal
yeah.
parking,
Yeah,
so,
'cause you get a lot of
Yeah.
places around there. don't have-
yeah, it'd be closer by.
There's people up Western Avenue.
Yeah. So, thank you for doing that, I appreciate that.
All right.
Just wanted to make that known.
As long as the winter gets over with, we can do it.
Yeah,
Yep.
it'll be over, yeah, we got a month and a half
Oh,
to
the
go.
way it's going, I don't know.
Month and a half we got.
All right,
60 degrees all week.
So, I don't know, Gail, if, we could talk about getting the signs, I don't know, how long does it take to get signs saying municipal?
2 or 3
parking?
weeks, yeah.
Okay, maybe we
Yeah.
could talk about get that.
Okay.
All right,
All right,
thank you,
sir.
Gail.
All right.
Charlie? Mr. Majeo?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Monthly report for January. Our water consumption totaled 16.3 million gallons, which is a daily usage of 523,000 a day. Compared to last month, we had only 13.5 million gallons, which is a daily usage of 436,000. Compared to a year ago, which was 12.3 for the month, which was a daily usage of 397,000. Water main totals, we had 3 water main breaks that had to be repaired on Old Indian, Milton Turnpike, and South Road, and we also had to repair a service line on Western Avenue with the help of the Highway Department. Curb boxes we had to repair on Hudson Terrace, Orchard, Bloom Street, and Route 9W in Milton. Meters, we had a total of 10 frozen meters that had to be replaced. Also, the bills went out. If there's any questions or concerns about your water bill, feel free to give us a call. Service line inspections 1, closings 4, markouts 10, gallons of gas 274, gallons of diesel 0, and the mileage for the month was 1960.
Charlie, how come we're so up in the water? Is that because of Brooklyn borrowing, or they got a contract, or?
Compared to last year, it is 4 million gallons of water. Some of it could have been through the people using more water because of the cold. We had a lot of people that were running their water.
Okay.
Also, there was 3 water main breaks but I don't believe it was that much of a loss. And also
3 million
Brooklyn.
gallons is a lot of water.
Also, Brooklyn Bottling had increased their yield a little
Okay.
bit. But I'm assuming that with the weather, with so many cold days, we had high usages at that time of the.
Plus, people's pipes broke, so they might have broke when they were at work, you know what I mean? And then leaked all back. It's like filling a swimming pool.
Any other questions for Charlie? No. Thank you, Charlie.
You're welcome.
Town clerk? Hello, Danielle.
Okay, Town Clerk Monthly Report for January. Conservation, $3.77. 7 dog licenses totaling $40. Towing licenses, 6, $1,500. Transfer station permits, 14 for $780. 30 punch cards for $1,370. 1 marriage license, $1,750. Building fees, $3,340.96. Fire fees, $640. We had Zumba, $210. Accident reports, 14 for $70. Certified copies, 6 for $100. FOIL requests, 2 for $25.50. Park fees, 1 for $150. Peddler's license, 1 for $250. Jiu-jitsu for $180. So the total was $8,675.73. Good? Okay.
Was the judicial, was that for January and February?
That's a good question. Jiu-jitsu, January. It could have been for September and October. It could have been for December. I'm not sure. I'd have to look into it.
Okay.
Because sometimes they pay we'll say, for example, sometimes they'll pay in December for the prior 2 months, and then it doesn't get posted till January.
Okay.
So I could look it up if you like.
Was the park
So-
fee just like a late check?
Nope, the park fee is $150, so that is a deposit on the park. So whether they're a resident or non-resident, it's $150 non-refundable deposit to book the park, yeah.
So when they gonna rent it?
No, they actually, people start calling us December, January for like graduation and, yeah. So we've had a few for June, July, and August so far, yeah. Yep.
Thank you, Danielle.
Water Quality Management, Inc., February 12, 2018. Report on the Marlborough wastewater treatment plant for January 2018. The average flow to the plant was 174,000 gallons per day. This was a very wet month with much snow melt and about 99% of design capacity, 175 gallons per day. The process is working well, meeting speeds requirements. Lab results show that we removed 99% of BOD and 99% of suspended solids during the month. Milton wastewater treatment plant. The average flow to the Milton plant during January 2018 was 31,000 gallons per day. This is about 56% of design capacity, 55,000 gallons per day. We showed 99% of BOD and 9% of TSS removal. The process is working well, meeting speed requirements. Overall, both wastewater treatment plants are in good working order, but getting older. The collection system is being monitored and maintained by Charlie Maggio and the Water Department. If you need any additional information, please don't hesitate to contact me, Tony Falco.
Thanks, Ed.
Any questions?
No, we're good.
I won't be able to answer them.
Well, that's a lot of water, right? 174 gallons. Pretty wet. Wow, look at the rain that we've been having. Al, could you read the assessor's, Cindy Hilbert's, please?
Yeah, the assessor's report from Cindy Hilbert. Our office processed 25 real property sales transfers. We are waiting on legal documentation to process the remaining 10 transfers. We worked on 4 property tax estimates. Our townwide data collection project has been on hold for the past few weeks. Our former data collector has resigned to take a full-time assessor position for a community in Dutchess County. We have interviewed several candidates for the position and have chosen Mr. Sean Ring as the part-time replacement. We have received approximately 65% of our renewal exemption applications for the enhanced star exemption and aged exemption. We have received approximately 50% of our agricultural renewal applications. Our office sent out reminder notices to the outstanding exemption recipients. The filing deadline is March 1st, 2018. We are continuing to review our new construction and sales records for the 2018 assessment roll. And that's from Cindy.
Thanks, Al.
Yeah. You're not gonna collect them once we go digital.
That's right.
That'd be great. Report of the committees, Recreation Committee.
Want me to read the
Planning board.
planning?
Oh, Planning Board, I'm sorry.
I didn't even see that one.
Just skip right over you.
Planning Board review, January 2018. The meeting on January 2nd was canceled. Meeting on January 16th. Attendees were Chris Brand, Cindy Lanzetta, Joe Lanfera, Ben Trapani. They approved the stenographic minutes from 12/18. The Little Brick House on 1435 Route 9W Marlborough had a public hearing for a lot line change. A public hearing was opened and closed with no questions or comments from the public. Motions to approve, seeker negative declaration and notice of determination of non-significance, short EAF, and resolution of approval were all granted. Grand Slam Auto, 1924 Route 9W Milton, final site plan. The project was granted final approval via resolution. Third item was Susan Bagata, 1 Top Hill Road, Marlborough sketch lot line. The applicant proposed a lot line revision which would result in one parcel no longer having road access. Additionally, the 2 lots require clarification regarding existing structures on each. The applicant will return at a later date. Fourth item was Marlborough Distributors, Route 9W LLC, 1100 Route 9W Marlborough. They were before the board for a site plan review. The applicant returned with updated plans to build a large warehouse on the site. The applicant will continue to address several ongoing technical concerns and return at a later date. Next deadline is Friday, January 19th. The next scheduled meeting is Monday, February 5th. Respectfully submitted, Chris Brand.
Thank you, Howard.
Yep.
Didn't mean to skip over you.
Very important. Not sure.
No,
I'll get another break in, huh? What do you keep canceling?
he said he was gonna keep them short.
Is he gonna
Chris.
keep canceling the meetings or what?
I told Chris to keep them short.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yep.
Like 5 pages.
Yeah, somebody told me to keep it short.
I did.
Okay.
So a report of committees now. Recreation Committee. Like you said, we met with most of the people. We changed our policy of how to pay, and
Yep,
and Joe Wiles was going to inform the
yep.
2 people that rent, plus himself.
Any resistance to it?
Huh?
Any resistance to it? I mean,
No.
He thought it was fine?
No.
And then the
Still pretty
playground,
easy going.
Yeah.
Yeah,
people with the playground, what you said you met for the 501c.
right.
So that's still alive.
Yeah, the playground, she wants an all-inclusive playground for handicap and stuff like that. Talking about $150,000, $150,000, something like that. Looking maybe to get some grants later on down the road. So if she became a 501c, she could take in some donations and stuff like that. But basically, when we talked to Rosemary, it was like for one deal, maybe you could piggyback like the train station did in the beginning before they come up with 501c. People will take you on, they'll charge you a percentage or something, but instead of going through all the paperwork. So she's gonna look at that angle.
Piggyback on someone else's.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone else will.
Emergency Management Preparedness Committee, Al,
All good.
you're good. Conservation and Advisory Committee, we're gonna meet, and what we decided was we're gonna have Matt Kirsten come. He has about 150 pictures of all the sites, plus, you know.
When is that meeting,
We meet,
Twenty-first, I
the
think.
21st we're gonna
This
meet.
meeting's gonna be on the 21st at the
It's an open
library.
meeting, it's at the library, anybody could show up.
So he's giving pictures, right? because we want
Just to give an idea of
give
what,
ideas of what we think should be the direction of new buildings.
I think it's more to,
And,
to show what we might want to preserve in terms of a Marlborough design.
right,
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to have,
that
preserve
sense,
it, and
yeah, right.
when,
I think really they're focused on the Newburgh guidelines.
Yeah, we
right?
just got the Newburgh guidelines.
Yeah, which,
Yeah.
So I've been reading them in the loo.
yep.
right.
Yeah, so this is remember we've had this out there for the design guidelines and all that, so
Yeah,
this
this is
is what
ongoing
we
for a long
have to,
time,
we have to get done, and
Yep.
so
It should be done.
we're gonna get close to it, you know?
I think
Maybe
using
you could
Newburgh
think
is a good
about
idea.
what you would like the CAC to do beyond this. Just give it a thought. If there's anything that you like, and we'll go from there. IT Committee, I think we discussed that. Milton Train Station Foundation, I think, we're at because of the weather-related, construction is pretty much. They're gonna have a meeting, I guess I have to get a hold of Ted Bartlett to see what to do. I think there's gonna be an excess of $50,000 left over from the grant to see how we could work it in with the contract with the state. So I have that phone call into Ted Bartlett, who did the RFP, Milton Landing Citizens Committee. We met Al, right? And we had this dialogue about them becoming a 501(c)(3). Rosemary Wine has taken that on. James Appler has a daughter who's a lawyer that's also volunteering her time. And also Mr. Fino, I think is,
James has a son.
yeah, is helping out with the financials. So it's moving along.
Lisa's
So
nice girl.
that'll be good, because you have $5,000 here, $5,000 there, we all put it in a bundle, and this way you can do the same thing, you go out and solicit for, monies.
You're more eligible for corporate donations that way.
Yeah. Marlborough Hamlet Economic Development Committee, Howard, I didn't make that meeting.
Yeah, what the news there is that we had a joint meeting with the Milton Hamlet Association Committee, a good meeting. 6 or 7 people were there from both committees, and basically it was the Marlborough side listening to the Milton side on what they've done in the past to have success. The outcome of the meeting was, I think the two committees will meet jointly and try to plan this meet and greet meeting we've been talking about for a while. That would include all of the businesses in, the town of Marlborough, both hamlets, and hopefully sometime in May at the Falcon, and bring the business leaders together and some of the leaders of our organizations in town, and just bring them up to date on all the activity that's going on related to revitalization of both of the hamlets, so they're aware of it. So that's one thing we can do together as two committees sort of working together on the same outcome.
That's great.
It was a good, very good meeting.
I haven't heard from Sheila. Have you Meet Me in Marlborough, anything from Meet Me in Marlborough?
From Sheila?
Put out a monthly email, but
No, I have not heard anything from her, except for
I
the,
did go to a meeting at the barn, and they were just recapping of the things that they would like to do with I Love New York.
yeah, that was a good meeting.
Yeah, you were there.
Yeah, that was about making this area more of a destination, and B.J. Mickelson working with I Love New York campaign to take advantage of these cheap flights from Ireland to this area, and they're working with companies in Ireland that would set up tours and bring people directly to this area. That would help, certainly, agritourism in this area. So
Yeah, it was very well.
I don't think it's completely firmed up yet, but that's what they're working towards.
Yeah, BJ was heading that up.
Yeah. Yep, so.
Okay, thank you. So I think the Hamlet of Milton Associates, probably what Howard said about the meeting.
Yeah,
Do you
I spoke.
have anything else to add, Howard?
No, they're planning on doing the spring fling coming up, so
Okay.
those dates will be announced shortly. We'll be here before you know it. for planting and all the other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they have a great setup there, just have these things in motion and then just have them, they raise money and that's how they do it.
Yep.
It's a good, organization.
They got it.
Yep.
Anything on the transfer station review?
We're gonna have a meeting, I actually spoke to Joan Delatorre today. I asked her to, canvass the people and get us together, so she's working on getting people the time and a place for us to meet. So we're gonna have a meeting, James. And, the topic of discussion will be these, garbage districts.
And John Halstead came in, and he is going to be a alternate.
Okay, good, I'm glad he reconsidered. Okay,
Yeah.
good, I'm glad, because
I
I was,
didn't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that, but
Okay.
that's
The
one,
last letter he sent us was,
he didn't want to, but I was upset about that.
Came
I
in
shouldn't
late.
have felt that way.
I knew about it.
Yeah, I'm glad he did reconsider, because,
that's good.
yeah.
We'll get that. Tina's been sick, so today she was sick. She got this stomach virus. Okay, old business, sale of Tomback property.
How many acres is that?
5.
We go through this all the time. I think it's less than 5. It's like 3 point something.
Is it?
Between 3 and 5.
I always thought it was
Less than 4, I just looked it up the other day. It's less than
I just
4.
had somebody ask me about it, a business person.
Yeah, better.
It's listed.
Well, we do have some interest in it, but no
And that's,
bid yet,
that's
no
zone,
actual bid
that's
yet.
zone highway development, right?
Yep,
I think so.
Touches the highway.
go ahead, I'll look it up.
So municipal parking in Hamlets of Marlborough and Milton. So with today, we'll have one in Marlborough. That's by the Captain Supply. Also got a call from the Marlborough Market. They're interested. I asked them through a letter to New Jersey if they'd be willing to send that back lot into a municipal parking area, and they were willing to do that. I'm going to send them the lease tomorrow, same as Captain. And
The houses that are back there, aren't some of that parking?
yeah,
for
it
those houses?
is. And we'll do like the Captain. The Captain says that he needs around 3 parking spots for his vehicle and 2 others for his employees. The rest will be for municipal parking, of course. At night, I think the Carrolls park there too.
Yep.
So we'll do the same for him. We'll put some signs up saying no parking, residential only. So we're segregated out.
I don't know who's responsible for that, but that was a genius move on somebody's part.
Yeah. You know what happened?
We've been talking about this for a long time.
What happened was that I sent a letter and I talked to Tom Corcoran about it. And Tom says, well, let me go check it out. And he was checking it out and, we had a good feeling about it, but we haven't heard back from the guy. And as Tom was coming across the street, Mark
It's Mark. Shiloh.
approached him and said, what are you doing? I said, we're looking for municipal parking. He said, hey, come on, use this one over here. So I said, okay,
So,
that's great. So Tom says, I'll have the supervisor come down and talk to you, and then I called Gail and we went, and we got everything ready. So we could sign the documents tonight and move on that. Yeah, that's great news. And we got something going in Milton too, so hopefully with those two, maybe we could take B off in the future. Design standards for the Route 9W corridor overlay district, we're gonna meet. That's almost a wrap.
well, the design standards are part of the design guidelines, right?
Yeah, that's right, that's
Yeah, you
correct.
jumped, a little bit, yeah.
I was thinking about.
But
the
you're right,
9W.
we can jump, the Route 9W corridor study, I think,
Yep.
we have a meeting in next week or the week after, and that should wrap that up.
Yep,
Should be a report that we can all look at and ponder.
3.2 acres,
Thanks.
And the LWRP, Alec,
3.2.
I think we're still waiting for the state to finish their review. That's what
Right.
John told me last week, but, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's done.
Yeah.
Except for, so it's now a document that we can use to help guide us in going forward, which is, I
Yeah,
find
and,
beneficial.
I got all the vouchers and everything ready.
Yeah, I
sent
don't know
it to
about that part.
Danielle for payment number 8.
Okay.
And so once we get that, there's one issue that we're trying to, John Behan spent he booked 80 hours over what the grant was really for, and want to use that 80 hours to see if we could use this as a match.
Yeah, that
And
would
we
be
haven't heard
fantastic.
from Barbara Carroll on that, so that would help us tremendously if we could.
What's his rate?
You know, I don't know.
Don't want to say that.
Like all
Pretty much,
consultants,
pretty
it's
much
pretty
the
high.
entire match
Yes.
right there. All right.
So new business is that commercial lease agreement for parking. So I need a motion for the supervisor to sign this lease.
No motion.
I'll second it.
And a second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you, gentlemen.
I make a motion to remove that from new business. Since you signed it, right?
Yep. So we'll remove the,
Commercial lease agreement for parking.
yep. And Scott, you want to talk about the Central Hudson audit?
Yep. So, me and Howard met with Morgan Rusk from Lime. She's from Central Hudson, but they represent Lime, what is it, Lime Energy? Yes. And they do audits for the buildings for Central Hudson. Central Hudson pays they only pay about 18% of the cost of these upgrades, and it's to take what you have and turn them into LED. If they can, they'll use the existing structure, gut it out, and reuse it. If they can't, they put in all new fixtures. So we have them do all our buildings. The only one that we thought that is actually going to work out for us right now is the Highway Department building, which is the main one we were really focusing on. Of course, this building too we focused on, but we gave the data to the school district who actually owns the building, and they're currently in the process of doing all their buildings as an audit through another company. So now they have something to compare to, but that will be up to them. But for us, we're going to recommend that we move forward on the Highway Department building, and this is for the whole complete building, exterior, interiorly, upgrading all the Highway Department side, the Water Department side, the the salt shed, the new garage, the back lights, the exterior front lights, everything. So there is a cost to this for us, of course. If we pay it off right away, what was it, 17?
17,000.
It's $17,369.80, which we recoup in about 5.5 years is pretty much right now. It's about 5.5 years roughly is where we would get to that number, where we break even. We think it's worth it. The committee that met, we also had Al, we updated Al on everything with this, and we have the money to do it through our fund, our general fund. I think we want to use our fund balance to do this.
That's what,
Because
Chris
even if
said.
we went out, because we considered going out to a private bid from an electrician, just consider that. We feel if we did that, it would cost just as much, if not more, because remember, the reason this cost is the cost it is because it's prevailing wage. So it's through Central Hudson, they know we're a municipality, they automatically bid, they do this at a prevailing wage rate. If we did that through an electrical company, we'd be doing the same thing. They'd be buying the same fixtures, they'd be charging us the same labor.
Plus
But
we-
in here, at least we get a $2,000 discount to pay it up front,
Plus
and Central Hudson's paying $4,161, because the original cost is $23,500 to do this. So we're getting, like I said, we're getting 18% back to do this. So our recommendation to the board is to move forward on this, and we're going to recommend taking the money out of, paying it off in one lump sum payment, the option number 1, which is in the package of $17,369.80. And
Chris advises.
Chris agrees that that's where we should use it from, out of our fund
I
balance.
think you all got the email from Chris.
We do have a surplus this year. We don't want to give an exact number yet because she hasn't finalized everything. She gave us an estimated number, but it's well above this number. So we feel comfortable by using that fund balance towards this because it's going to be energy savings in the long run. So I'm going to make that motion that we do that.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Sounds good.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed?
Nope.
Spend the money.
So we'll
Spend it, baby.
I make a
Send
motion.
Morgan a note and tell her to get
investing the money
going.
when that's-
We'll get-
Yep, invest the
I
money.
make the motion to remove that from new business also.
I need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None being said. So we're gonna remove those two new items, A and B.
Well,
Okay.
Gil, you're gonna finally get an upgrade over there. That's,
Might be
we
able
were
to-
looking
might
at
be able
some
to
of
see.
those, some of those lighting fixtures there are like,
see going to the,
I can't believe they're still working.
about 15 years, I'm glad somebody's moving on.
We're moving forward.
We're getting them.
Sometimes things take a little time.
We're going to take some of those lights and put them in the Museum of Electricity or something.
Well, the good thing too is she said like the interior lights in the garage, they actually encase them. So you don't get all the dust buildup and stuff on the lights that dim them. So it's a much better lighting. You should have better lighting in there now, so hopefully.
Hopefully.
So, a copy you will send her, or you wanna do it?
Yeah, I'll just reply to that
Okay.
note and tell her to get you the contract to come. I think the contract's in there, but I think she should bring a new,
Yeah.
have you do it.
Okay.
She's lived right here, so.
Yep.
Good thing is she's a local resident too, so it's,
It's going to help her.
Morgan Ross.
Morgan Russ.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Did a good job.
Yep.
So in correspondence, you've seen this, Danielle, about the Ulster County Office for the Aging?
Oh,
About-
yes. Yep, they're
wanting,
requesting the
uh,
park.
Yeah, they didn't give a date, did they give a date? 120 people, but
Yes,
they gave a date?
yes, and it's
Okay.
it's okay. We have them
Okay.
penciled in.
In
but,
this
yeah, I
letter
don't
that
remember
I
what the date is
received, it
either.
doesn't have a date.
Oh, okay.
So, but everything would be good to
Yes.
waive that? So I need a motion to waive the fees for the Ulster County Office for the Aging. What they do is they put on a senior citizens, a little brunch and lunch, and tell them what, they're all about and all the different programs that the seniors could do. So I need a motion
I'll
on
make
that?
that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion. Thank you. I got a short letter from Highway Department that says, "Gentlemen, this is to advise you that Christopher Mankus, holding the position as MEO in the town of Highway Department, has completed his 6 months probationary period as of February 7, 2018, and I therefore approve him as full-time employee of the Highway Department." It's working out well?
Yes, very good.
Got quite a team there, a lot of young people.
Well, it's about 50/50.
It's good, but sometimes those are the guys that don't stay.
Yeah. Any public comment? James, you want to come up? Good evening, James.
Good evening. I'll try to go over these really quickly. One is, maybe you should consider giving urgent the option of first refusal on the vehicle when it's bid out. That's number one. Number two, if you want to look at a projector system, the town of Greenberg does have one that they use, or you might want to just call them, that's in Westchester County.
What is it, town of what?
Greenberg.
It's right next to White Plains.
Okay.
It's in New York State?
Yeah, it's right in Westchester.
Yes, it's off of 287.
They got the
Okay,
big
gotcha.
Coliseum there.
Yeah. I would ask Rochester, dealing with the solar, maybe you can get a copy of their RFP and maybe get a list of the companies that actually sent in.
That's the purpose of the meeting.
I think that would be helpful. With regard to the Christmas trees that are being picked up off the street, maybe it would be more advantageous to think about advertising that residents could bring them to the transfer station. That's something to think about, to talk to Gail about how much it costs to have these people pick up the trees. It is certainly dangerous, and it's probably dangerous for people driving around when these trees are off on the side of the road. I understand that the school district is talking to the community college about moving some of their facilities into here. If the school district needs to move out, maybe you should consider talking to them about whether or not they might want to move into Tomvac.
No, they're gonna move down at at Middle Hope. They have a facility already.
They're out, they're gone.
Okay. I thought they were renting that one out, but,
They are, but it's,
Maybe
they're taking up
ending.
part of it, because I think the facility can't afford the rent. But you would have to talk to the school about that.
okay. I was only suggesting it because you're building
we're
this
on
home.
top of that.
It's good to hear that.
Matter of fact, everything you mentioned so far, we're on top of it. Go ahead.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad you're on top of things. You may have read in the paper about the fight that was at the park, and somebody fell off the wall. I think you might want to have somebody just take a look at that to see if there needs to be some kind of fence or something to keep people from falling off.
He fights up there. He didn't fall off the wall watching the
Right,
He fell off the
right,
wall in a
because it was a fight.
confrontation in the middle of the night, so.
Yeah.
It's been like that for
And there's a stone wall there which kind of keeps people from walking over there. But I just want to say,
Except for that one.
it would probably be a good idea to have somebody look at that anyway, just to make sure.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anything
night.
good, anything good do you have to say? Could you come up one time and say what a great job you're doing?
Oh, he always says.
There you
He
go.
does that.
I'm always kidding.
Let's vote and roll.
I know.
Very good, he does.
So moving right along. Thank you, James. Resolutions. Resolution 30 to appoint a part-time data collector. Supervisor Lanzetta proposes the following, whereas the town of Marlborough had an opening for a data collector in the assessor's office, and whereas the assessor's committee has conducted interviews for this position, now therefore be resolved that it is recommended of the assessors committee as well as the town assessor to appoint Sean Ring as the part-time data collector effective immediately. Now therefore be further resolved that the hourly rate is $15 an hour, not to exceed $13,260 yearly.
And Scott,
And
you interviewed this?
is that his real name? Sean Ring, huh?
Yep. Yeah, he was a good guy. He actually did the first gentleman we did, Eddie, and he was the only person, they all were good. The only thing is, the only person that actually had some experience. And the good thing is, he has commercial side experience, and after she gets, probably about this year's done with the residential, they're gonna go to commercial.
Yeah, that's what she
So that's why it's important that it
And
works
he's already
out.
taken a couple of the classes you need to take.
Yeah, and he's taken most of the classes that are required, Cindy, would require for him to do. So,
And his
again,
other-
all the applicants were good.
Yep.
And, they just didn't have the background that he had.
And his job is at night, so he's flexible all
And
times. of the
so,
day.
You had 4 applicants?
yeah, we had 4 applicants, and, you know,
But they were all very
they all had their own thing.
Yep.
But, you know, we took a lot from the assessor. The assessor is the one I
She's gotta
worked
work
with, and again, he was the only one that actually had experience, so, and again, the commercial experience is gonna be an asset to us after this year is over.
It's good. Good job, guys.
So,
Appreciate
and
it.
at that rate, I mean, you can't really complain, so,
Danielle?
Councilman Corcoran?
yes.
Councilman Molinelli?
Yes.
Councilman Koenig?
Yes.
Councilman Baker?
Yes.
Supervisor Lanzetta?
Yes, thank you. This is to authorize Rebecca Volk to enter into consent judgment. Supervisor Lanzetta proposes the following, whereas a real property tax assessment review proceeding was commenced by Milton Realty LLC regarding premises known as and by 133 North Road, Milton, New York, SBL 103.1-2-42 to review its tax assessment for the tax year of 2017. And now, therefore, be resolved that Mackey Butts Weiss LLP, Rebecca A. Volk, Esquire of the Council, is authorized to enter into a consent judgment in the form attached, settling the tax statutory proceedings brought by Milton Realty LLC against the town of Marlborough for the tax year of 2017, and to sign such other and further papers as are necessary to officiate the settlement. And so it went from $222,500 to $179. Amount of reduction is $43,500. So basically, we're down to just a few. I think we're having the evaluation, and we put it in our budget to do this. Frida's, and a couple other places. So we're getting there.
Going down or some of them going up?
Some of them going, basically stayed the same. We settled, they stay the same, they're both parties just withdraw. And some went down, like I said, a few dollars on each thing. We're trying to work with them. Some of them, we do, it was in the middle. I think we could have came to some agreement with some of the big parcels, but we were in the middle of the evaluation of those parcels. We already hired the guy to do the appraisals. And I think it's worthwhile going down the line to see if those properties are actually evaluated at the appraisal rate and our assessor's rate. So it's a good thing.
I mean, Rebecca's done an amazing job.
She's doing a
And Cindy too, Cindy's
They're on
worked
top
with
of it.
Rebecca very well, but I think, this is really good for us, and I think it's an eye-opening experience for the owner of the
While we're
property too.
talking about lawyers, are we using the same lawyer for the contract negotiations again this year? For
Yes,
police?
yes.
You're still going
Dave.
Dave Wise?
Dave Weiss.
Dave
Same-
Wise, which
same,
is with Rebecca.
Yep.
No, I know he's, that's
Firm,
why,
yep.
yeah, it made me think of it.
Yeah.
We have, right now, we're like, just to get off this, but
Preliminary,
we're just talking,
Yeah.
trying not to use attorneys at this point.
Danielle?
Councilman Corcoran,
Yes.
Councilman Molinelli,
Yes.
Councilman Koenig,
Yes.
Councilman Baker,
Yes.
Supervisor Lanzetta.
Yes. Thank you. And gentlemen, that's about it, unless you would like to discuss anything.
I'd like to
or-
bring up a motion to adjourn.
I'll second
Any
it.
idea?